So what's up everybody, this is something I wanted to talk about that I started looking back at the fight with Lucius. It was clear that Adrammelech literally was following orders, even though he didn't really believe in the orders, because we saw that he didn't expect much from humans when he thought everybody got defeated. There was a part there, but the part I want to talk about the most is him looking at Asta. I think that part is very interesting. He's looking at Asta. You could be a threat, but for whatever reason Lucius is going to let you live because you're still part of his plan. So this video will talk about that and the possible angles that Lucius might do with his plan. So let's get into this. First of all, if you like anime, manga reviews, discussions, spoilers, and theories, definitely hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, like comments. I read the comments, so it should hit me with some false copyright strikes. So let's get this channel back to 5,000. I have a second channel that focuses on One Piece and Boruto, so check it out. Just bear with me. I'm catching up with a lot of mangas right now. Check out the Discord and Patreon. So this is something that was very interesting to me. Like during the fight, all of us did not like how Lucius got defeated, the outcome. I wasn't feeling how Adrammelech just looked at Asta and left. And he's like, see ya. Like, I was so annoyed with that. I was just like, what? But now that we know that Adrammelech has been following the orders of Lucius, that scene has a different meaning to it. It's so important now because, like I said before, Adrammelech did not believe in humans. He said it was a good try, but humans can only go to a certain point. But he saw Lucius got defeated by humans. He wasn't surprised, but he's very happy because at the end of the day, whatever plan Lucius has, Adrammelech is going to benefit dearly. And I said this before in other videos, but Adrammelech is part of the Order of the Flies. 𝙲𝚘𝚎 is basically the leader of the Order of the Flies. However, Astaroth is part of that order. So with that being said, there's a possibility that even though Lucius is with Astaroth, I do believe that Astaroth and Lucius have a very good connection with each other. Not only possession, but there's a strong level of respect that Astaroth has with Lucius. I'm not entirely sure what the case is, but the fact that Adrammelech followed Lucius after him saying that he didn't expect much from humans, but technically Lucius is a human, even though he has a connection or the devil host of Astaroth.
There seems to be a level of respect between Lucius and
Adrammelech. So there's a possibility that Adrammelech, when he was looking at Asta, he saw that Asta was a threat. Whatever Lucius has in plan for Asta is going to be very epic. I think this whole entire next arc, even though I said Asta could get executed, before that happens, I think Lucius is going to use Asta for something. I'm not entirely sure what is the case, but obviously he already defeated Lucius. But I wouldn't be surprised if for whatever reason Asta accidentally brings the devils out from the tree of Cliff-Off in some way or another. It's clear that Asta is being used as a puppet by Lucius, and we're not entirely sure what is the reason. I still think Lucius has strong ties with Asta's father. Either he's Asta's father or he manipulated the relationship between 𝙲𝚘𝚎 and Asta's father some way. I know some of you guys have been saying that Asta's father could be Alan some way, even though Alan looked like he died against that devil. What happens if that devil brought Alan's body to Astaroth or to a higher devil, and for whatever reason they used him for his plan to impregnate 𝙲𝚘𝚎 and give birth to Asta? That way Asta will be the Time Devil's puppet for life. It's a stretch, but it'd be very cool if this story was basically Asta finding his way to get rid of that demonic life plan that Astaroth has for him. You know, there's just so many possibilities, but that scene that Adrammelech squinting at Asta while he's on the ground, that he could have just easily killed him, is very powerful. There's a possibility that Lucius will use Asta to bring out the end of the world. We don't know what exactly Lucius' plan is, but he's most likely has something to do with the end of the world, you know, just for villain's sake. But not the end of the world like everybody gets destroyed or something, but the end of the world to create the world better for him, because we're still not entirely sure of his motives. But most villains in general, not just in shonen, just in general fiction, the villain always has a weird sense of reality and they have a twisted, warped sense of moral superiority. I can see that being the case with Lucius. And another weird thing about Lucius is that he was on a wheelchair when we first saw him, but we clearly see him walking on his 2 feet his whole entire time. I wonder what's the case with that. I mean, we see Julius transform into an old lady, so I wonder, is Lucius' power transformation magic, or is he just using some weird manipulation of time to transform his genes or his DNA somehow to match whatever he wants to be? I mean, we're not entirely sure exactly what Lucius' power is, but like I said said before in another video, Astaroth is known to have two forms, a goddess form and a demon form. So there might be a possibility that Astaroth not only has time magic, but Astaroth could also have some form of transformation magic that has to do with time. It's probably like a side effect of his magic. Who knows? It's just weird to me how Adrammelech followed the orders of Lucius, even though 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚒𝚝 is the leader of the Lord of the Flies. So it makes me believe that 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚒𝚝 might be the one that is in charge of all this, because Astaroth in certain texts is on the same level as 𝙲𝚘𝚙 Lucifero in the evil trinity. However, other texts, Astaroth is more like a high-ranked demon and a prince of hell. So it depends how 𝙲𝚘𝚙 wants to do this, but I think 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚒 might end up being the whole mastermind of this. Like, we think it's Lucius and the Time Devil, but it's really 𝙲𝚘𝚙 behind it all. Just going with demonology in the Order of the Flies, that might be a hint as to what they plan to do. If you think about flies, a lot of times when you see animal carcasses, you see a lot of flies around it. So Astaroth and 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚒's plan might include basically the destruction of life in the Black Clover world, and Asta is going to play a key part in that. So I wonder what is going to be the catalyst, because right now the Clover Kingdom loves Asta. Asta just literally saved the Clover Kingdom from a giant demon, and the world saw him use his devil power for the sake of the kingdom. But that being said, that scene with Adrammelech looking at Asta squinting at him, he probably just can't imagine all the things that Lucius hasn't planned for him moving forward. So Asta's going to do a lot of awesome feats, but it's going to make you think, are the feats done because he did it, or is it because Astaroth and Lucius have been manipulating time because they wanted to favor the outcome towards their diabolical plan? It's going to be very interesting. I'm very excited for the next arc. Like I said in another video before, there's a possibility that Asta, 𝚬𝚑𝚜 as well, have just been Astaroth's demon dog. That would be so epic if somehow Astaroth's demon dog, who Astaroth has written him throughout the history of demonology, there's a possibility that demon dog eventually reveals his master, which will be Asta going against Astaroth. That'd be very epic. I really would like that to be a case, because it'll have more meaning to the arc. I really want more meaning towards the new arc, because I really want the new arc to focus heavily on themes like it did with the elf arc. The elf arc pretty much shows you the twisted ways of what greed can do to you, because of how the humans basically killed the elves and took their mana, which obviously was because of a devil was manipulating them in a way. I hope this next arc has themes like that. Looking back at the Wizard King and 𝚘𝚗𝚗's fight, Julius mentioned that he wanted to create a perfect society with him. We're not entirely sure who he meant, but moving forward, it's clear that it was Asta, because Asta said something similar. He wanted a society without classism and discrimination. So I hope the next arc touches those themes, where Asta, who's metaphorically the demon dog for Astaroth, has been serving his master this whole time without him knowing, and he finds a way to destroy that elitism with 𝚬𝚑𝚜, who's technically quote-unquote a low-ranking devil. Asta, with his low-ranking devil, has played a huge part in beating the three devil kings, not just Lucifero, but also Astaroth and 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚒. And Asta and 𝚬𝚑𝚜 represents metaphorically Astaroth's dog. I would love it. It'll make the arc so meaningful, because not only is Asta now fighting classism, he's fighting fate versus free will, and he wants to make sure that his will is his own will, and he will fight for that freedom. I think if 𝚘𝚘𝚙 does that, it'll be epic. It's clear that so far Asta has been used as a puppet for Lucius throughout this whole entire series. So I would love it at the end where Asta literally fights somebody without him being fated to win, and he wins because of free will, and not him because he was destined to win because Lucius kept changing the time and the outcome so that Asta will win. Either way, that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about this video. Do you like this Black Clover discussion / theory? Now that we know that Adrammelech was basically following the orders of Lucius, does that scene when he squints at Asta's face have more meaning to you, or do you think it doesn't really matter? What plans do you think Lucius has for Asta next arc? Do you think 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚒 has his own plan, or is it that Astaroth and 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚒 have been planning this together, or do you think that 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚒 doesn't really know too much about Astaroth's plan? Do you think the Order of the Flies have something to do with this, which includes Astaroth, 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚒, and Adrammelech? What do you think the Order of the Flies is going to be in Black Clover? Do you think it's going to be more of a devil alliance, or do you think it's going to be more metaphorical in terms of their plan to destroy basically all the world? Like if you liked the video, comment, subscribe, and I'm out of here.